It is the Riot. So I'm on vacation right now.
Obi's currently in Oregon, even though he's here right now.
I am. I hope it's going well.
I know. I hope future Obi's having a great time.
But we're doing these Worst of Riot podcasts this week. You'll get one every day. Now, they are a little shorter. They're probably more in the neighborhood of 20 minutes versus like a full hour kind of thing.
We wanted to get you something, though, since, Obi's on vacation for the whole week. We didn't want you to have nothing. So
throw you a bone.
You get something from the year 2010 all this week. You'll get some...
In the year 2010.
Yeah, from, wasn't that Conan?
Conan, yeah.
Conan O'Brien. So you'll enjoy some of our bits from then.
All right, here you go, Nikki. Your cherry vanilla cough syrup.
Yes, I love that stuff.
All right,
which is not something that's healthy to say about a cough syrup. I understand that.
Right. Yell it again.
While in the pharmacy.
Yell it again. I love this.
Like, there it is. That's how she stays so cheerful.
We talk about the zombie bite calculator. I did this because I'm like, I'll be there. Here's the title. Pacific Northwest Bikini Baristas at Java Jugs.
I remember that story.
Don't you remember it?
I do.
Okay,
because it's a terrible name.
We talk about Nikki's hair and nail times, and I don't know what this is, but I was like, the title's so good it's going in. Nikki throws up in her hand in the car.
I think that was when I was in...
it's not the fair one.
No,
because
I
you
was
threw up in your purse.
Remember I drove the Florida Keys, and I was with Eric's family?
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the back, and I drove from Key West to Miami, and I was being driven, and I get car sick if I'm not the one driving. And I remember sitting there, if that's what it was... everybody's around me having a great time, and I'm so car sick that I threw up in the back, but not like enough to where I wanted to draw attention to what was going on. It might be that, or it might be something else, but if I had to guess, I think it's from the Keys.
I guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for today.
Okay. Enjoy the special Worst of Riot podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and enjoying, hopefully, this week.
Bye.
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on RadioU.
It is The Riot. You cannot see, but I see what is going on. Nikki is suffering. And soon.
Actually, you want to know what I just did?
What did you do now?
I made hot tea, and I put it, because we have to have things covered, and so I was coming in with my tea, and when I was leaving the break room, I stacked it on top of my water.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I didn't have that lid on right, and so when I was crossing the door, I dropped my tea all over my hand, and it burned it really bad. I'm going to have to go home now. It's a...
well, you have to, you have to push buttons.
I know. It's a, a workers' comp.
Yeah, you can't work.
I can't, so...
you're going to have to use your left hand to run the TV remote because your right hand's out of commission and you can't push the buttons.
I'm going to have to stick this hand in a thing of ice just for the rest of the morning. So really, we should wrap things up early if you'd like.
All right, well, hey, everybody, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, it's a good show, good show.
Yeah, so I knew Nikki was suffering yesterday. I saw her several times with her hat pulled almost all the way down over her whole head as we went out and about. But you went in search of the medicine last night.
I got it.
You did?
I did, yeah. It actually started from Obi, a couple weeks ago?
I was at the pharmacy picking up my drugs. They had a big display that's like, now in cherry vanilla.
It's vanilla cherry.
Vanilla cherry.
Vanilla cherry NyQuil, and it is a limited edition flavor.
Dude, it so just reeks of just like, want to get high for the holidays?
Yes, that's how it is. Well, I thought...
With new vanilla flavoring.
You really shouldn't make something so tasty like that. Well, we envisioned it being like Dr. Pepper, like the cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper, which we love. So I got it. I really wanted Dayquil because I very rarely take anything nighttime.
It's a bad idea.
Because we get up so early, it never really leaves your system in enough time. So I only took a little bit last night, and oh my gosh, it is strong.
Really?
Well, the cherry flavor definitely outshines the little bit of vanilla taste that you have. But
so there was a hint of vanilla, but was it all NyQuil?
Oh yeah, I was teasing someone. You just take the cap off, and you're right, and you're you could be out like a light. It's so strong, especially if you're not used to NyQuil. Because like I said, I like DayQuil usually just a little bit better.
Well, I thought about us doing a RIOT taste test with it, but the thing
I don't think we can.
is that if we, the last thing we need in this room is to take a sip of NyQuil because, like, why is there no talking?
Where did everybody go?
They're
they're
sleeping.
asleep.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a sip, it would be enough to set us over.
Not a good idea at all.
What was that, Dozol or whatever? We'd hibernate. We'd hibernate through the whole entire winter.
Dude, but did it help?
It did. I haven't really been coughing a lot. I really just have what's left of a sinus infection. So I don't feel too terrible. But the more medicine that you take, the more that medicine makes you want to cough.
Yeah.
And so I started coughing last night, even though I hadn't been coughing before. So other than that, I'm definitely on the mend. So I don't know if I'll take the limited edition if you want some.
Well, but Nikki, here's the thing. Since it's only here for a limited time,
I should stock up.
You should probably go ahead, stock up, and ration it out from here.
It's there. If you want to see it, it's there.
Aside from us, obviously it has people talking about it, but where's that conversation start? Like, hey, dude, what do you think about if we add a little...
Oh, you mean like in a board meeting?
Yeah, like... I don't know about you guys, but at home, when I get my monthly allotment from the company, I slide a little vanilla in there, and dude, it gets the party open.
Yeah. And then, they put the warnings for the medicine. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't make it so
delicious.
Delicious flavoring.
People probably said the same thing when they came out with cherry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm glad there's cherry,
but now
quite
there's
frankly.
cherry vanilla.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
It is the Riot, 8772 RadioU. So, Nikki, how long do you think it would take for you to turn into a zombie? Like if you got bit?
You mean for the virus to take an effect?
Yeah.
I thought it didn't take long.
Well, see, it depends. And somebody's put together here the zombie bite calculator. Like if you've been bitten, how long before you become infected? So you have to put your age. Let's see, we're 26 to 40.
Don't say it. Ask for your weight.
Okay. How often? We'll do me. That's fine. How often do you catch colds? Probably if we're counting sinus infections, we got to go with 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Do you typically recover from colds quickly? I don't know. I come to work even though I'm sick. Does that count?
Is there like a medium option?
How about it takes me about as long as everyone else?
Sure, that's a good idea.
Okay, that's a good one. How often do you exercise? A few times a week. You would know it by looking at me, but which option best describes your body type? I'm obese. I can admit it. Do you smoke? Oh, there's a good one.
No. Yay,
no.
You got one.
Do you have asthma? No. Okay. How easily do you bruise? It takes a lot to bruise me, especially emotionally.
Except
I'm very
it's
strong. Do you take medication that thins your blood? No. Do you have high cholesterol? I don't, actually. How much do you weigh? Here it comes. 251 pounds or more. I pack in at 255 pounds.
Oh, you're so close though to being right under
I'm
that
almost
one.
in the next
You're
one.
almost there.
Are you anemic? No.
No.
Are you diabetic? No. Let's see. They say that it would. Oh, that's all? It would take me an hour and 32 minutes to become infected.
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, if you go by movies, you would have had to have. Well, you would have to either shoot yourself or right after seeing you become infected, would have to kill you.
Do it, Sarge.
I'd have to aim for the head.
Yeah. You don't want me to turn into one of them.
No, I'd have to get you before you got me.
Yeah, you definitely have to do that. So an hour and 32 minutes. That's enough time for me to make some phone calls, though.
Yeah.
Assuming that.
Goodbyes, that sort of thing.
And then, you know what? Would you guys mind, putting me under before you shoot me? Or does it all happen so fast it doesn't matter?
No, I'd probably knock you out and then kill you.
Yeah, but if you're waiting for somebody to knock you out, don't you think that's...
No, I'd take a shovel and just hit you in the head.
Whap. Yeah,
and then that way you'd pass out, and then you would never know. You would just never wake up.
I definitely wouldn't be that guy that's like, no, it's nothing. Because that's the guy...
While your eyes are like...
That's the
your
guy.
whole body's changed. You're like, no, I didn't get bit. I'm just fine.
I told you I was getting a cold when we came out here. I just don't... I'm feeling myself.
I feel like this cold has really developed. I know it probably looks like I'm a zombie, but I'm
really
not.
Getting me. Well, that's the question is, as a zombie, like, once it happens, are you gone or are you in there trying to stop it from happening? I don't know, but yeah, I get an hour and 32 minutes. So if you knew you were going to become a zombie in an hour and 32 minutes, what would you do with your life? I'd take an hour to be with family and friends because you don't want to.
You don't want to cut it too close.
You don't want to cut it too close.
You don't know the exact moment.
Right. And you don't want to get them infected and stuff. So you got to be careful about that.
Well, you got to get away from them.
So you say goodbye and then, all the
while you're like drooling and you're like, I'm feeling it.
I'm fine. No. Or maybe it'd be too sad. Maybe you should just tell him that he was working with a bomb or something and accidentally went off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all the while I had to kill you.
Yeah, that's fine. If that's the way it's got to be. I'd do you if it came down to it, Nikki. I wouldn't let you turn into one of them.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The only problem is when we find out that
we were just fine. We really wasn't cold.
She was fine. I told you she was sick. I couldn't risk it.
You could risk just in case.
Yeah. So 1 hour and 30. I can only imagine that if you were thinner, maybe you might do better if you were like in better shape, I guess. But I think my weight is actually helping me when it comes to how long it takes me to be taken over by a zombie, don't you think?
If you would have said, hey, like I recover from colds amazingly well or I don't get sick, they're just trying to figure out how your immune system would be because it would be able to fight it off for a little bit longer.
I know, but if I was fat and I had that would be really good because the longer, it's kind of like when people are getting drunk, like the fatter you are, it takes more like to get you, your body weight or whatever. So, this would be an advantage for me. Like my obesity would finally be working for me instead of against me.
Okay, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah. So, I got that going for me if that should ever occur. If you're interested in how long it would take you to become a zombie, you can I'll put this on the Riot blog at riot.radiou.com.
Good.
Because that's what you're looking for today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's news.
Okay. Yeah. It's the Riot.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
It is The Riot, 877-2-RADIO-U, online at RadioU.com. So apparently in the state of Washington, and I did know this, it's not just Washington, Oregon too. Dude, if you don't live in the Northwest, you don't understand coffee. Like, you don't understand what it's like because I have not been, and man, I have been all over the U.S., and I have not been in a region of the country that does coffee the way they do in the Northwest. And here's why. No, actually, I don't know why. I have no idea why. I just know that there, like, you can pull up to an intersection and there will be 4 drive-through coffee places on each corner.
Which is how it used to be in our area until those coffee shops didn't even do, they didn't fare well and they had to close some of them.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, most of the country, it's like if they want designer coffee, they're pretty much going to go to Starbucks and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you know about coffee. But, man, in the Northwest, there are lots of different types of coffee shops. There's some chains, but there are a lot of just, like, homegrown, homebrew, like, hey, I got a... like old building and I hear drive-through coffee. And so that means competition has been pretty fierce. And now it turns out that, to increase competition, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are opening espresso shops and putting some fine young ladies in there, dressed in various states of undress. They like to wear bikinis, lingerie. For a tip, you might be able to, get a little touch going on there. And I love this. The people in the area that aren't in favor of this.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't be? Come on.
It really probably helps your property value.
Yeah, people refer to them as sexpresso stands.
Oh, terrible name.
I love it because that's so somebody that works at a whatever somewhere that's like, oh, I got it. We'll call it a sexpresso. No! Yeah! So right now in Everett, Washington, there are 5 bikini baristas that are being charged or are accused of charging up to $80 to let customers, take a couple pictures, take a couple of touches.
Hugs?
And guess
Is that what you want to call it?
We'll call it hugs.
Hugs, okay.
Grope Fest 2010, whatever makes you feel better. So they are now, get this, they're being brought up on prostitution charges.
Well, didn't some of them start because they were trying to get around the laws and the rules for the area of can you have one of those places there or not? And so they started them as coffee places because that wasn't in the rules.
I don't know.
So it was a way around the system.
I don't know. Like that could be that. I think that was the case in Maine where they had the topless coffee shop.
Yes, I remember that. And they burned it down,
Somebody
didn't they?
burned it down.
And the guy didn't have insurance.
Yeah. But he got a hold of a tent, and they're selling topless coffee in the tent now.
And he was trying to raise money.
I'm sure that's going well in the middle of winter. Hey, stop by our tent and drink coffee with all the topless people. Yeah, well, the city is saying, hey, listen, this is not, and this is a quote, this is not Malibu Barbie standing at a coffee stand selling coffee. We have citations for prostitution. This is totally different. Now, I got to tell you these. Forgive me. Go away if you don't want to hear it. Here are the names for some of the coffee shops. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, the names are the people. Okay.
No, the names. Brulesque. Not bad. Twin Perks. And I got one better. I got a really good one. It's a stop on by Java Jugs. And get a cup of coffee. It's very appropriate. It's very nice. So there are a lot of cities in Washington that want to, take care of.
Get rid of them.
This public menace that, as Nikki says, is really adding to the property value, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Imagine trying to sell your house and you're a couple doors down.
I don't know, the right kind of customer.
I don't think so. Those
You don't
aren't,
think so?
No. Those type of customers, yes, they might frequent the establishment, but they tend to scatter when
the lights are turned on.
The lights are turned on.
Oh, well, it's just a heads up. The next time you want to use a bikini to sell a cup of coffee, see, I'm not saying, that it might not be appealing, but, how good's the coffee? When you go there,
usually it's not known for the best.
I just want a good cup of coffee. It's the Riot.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
It is the Riot on RadioU, 8772 RadioU. So yesterday, Nikki went and got a cut and color.
I did.
It looks nice.
Thanks.
Now
it's still wet.
That's all right. Well, first thing in the morning, that's not the time to show it off.
Nor is it, do you ever have it where it's a couple of days before you kind of grow into it?
Yes,
whenever
absolutely.
you get your cut, and it's cut a lot shorter, so, it takes a couple of days.
It's got to come back.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Now, tomorrow you're doing an Axiom from Opie. What is that?
OPI?
Yeah, OPI.
You're such a boy.
What is that? Because you were like, I'm almost ready for Unleashed. Just need an Axiom, 2 X's.
No, it's
from OPI.
It's a nail thing that you do.
What is it?
It's like gels or acrylics, kind of.
So you have the fake ones put on.
Yes, but you don't have to. You can just put it over your real nails and not put tips on.
So it's a coating.
Yeah, it's like a coating. It's like a nice wax that you put.
All right, so it makes them shiny.
Yeah, and then you can paint. You can put nail polish on it, and it stays for a couple of weeks.
Oh, so it sticks to the nail or to the Axiom.
Yes, and not your nail.
And that makes it stick around longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Axiom is better for the nail, and then it's also better for the paint. It's an intermediary. It comes between you and the paint.
That's a good way to put it. Absolutely.
So what color are you thinking for your nails?
I don't know. I might do like black tips or something.
Tips only.
Yes.
So normal color and then a black tip.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. All right.
Did you want to come or?
I didn't know if that was something you did at home.
Oh no! You go somewhere.
No. They spray it or they brush it on?
They use a paint, like a little tiny paintbrush.
Does the person who's going to do this speak English as a primary language?
Yes.
Okay. And how? How's that go? How long does it take?
About an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
What is this stuff? They got to import it from wherever? What?
No, it just takes time.
Does that include drive time and sit time, or is that an hour face to face with that person holding your hand?
Probably about an hour. That's how long things take with your nails. They have to polish it and stuff. It'll take that long.
That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
I mean...
Listen, what are you willing to invest? All right?
You know what? Quite frankly, I'm not willing to put an hour into my nails because it's not even really an hour. You're also going to have to drive there.
Yeah, and it's early morning tomorrow.
Wait in the waiting room. Mm-hmm. They call you back, then you go back there, and then you got to make awkward conversation for an hour, which is, I mean, you're used to it by now.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know what? With that axiom, that's going to be...
Is that going to make all the difference? Unleashed is kicking off next Tuesday.
Yep.
So I think that will really just make it a good day.
Well, taking care of your nails is taking care of your fingers. And those fingers push the buttons that make this all happen.
The buttons make the music play, and then that's what makes you guys happy.
So in reality, that investment in your fingers is an investment in all of us.
That's really true.
It's an investment in all of us.
So that's a tax write-off, isn't it?
Yeah, you should get a double axiom.
It's a balance.
I'll take a double. Do you guys have those? Do you put your hand in the little thing that turns on?
You could always get a manicure.
Well, no, there's no sense in me getting a manicure because I like to eat my fingernails.
Oh, we like to rough them up.
Yeah,
that could keep you from actually doing it.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think so. Then they're like, oh, we're gonna put this stuff that'll make them taste bad, and it's like, you know what? You can't make these taste bad.
Actually, it's probably a good point. They don't have nail polish that tastes good.
Or think about that, like an orange or a cherry flavored nail.
Yeah, like fruit flavored. You just lick and bite your nails all day.
It's a bad idea. It's the
As you take off your bandage.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, Radio U.
It is the Riot on Radio U. In a few minutes, it'll be my turn to talk about terrible details. But right now, it's Nikki's turn. Nikki, you went to Florida with some family.
I did.
And they were not as familiar with Florida as you were.
They had never been there.
And as a result, they rented a car and there was a lot of road trips involved.
There was.
And Thursday night, I began getting these text messages during one particular road trip. Why don't you go ahead and tell us how that went?
I thought you'd enjoy it. We drove from this place called Marco Island, which is on the Gulf side near the Everglades, and drove across the state of Florida to Miami. And then from Miami, we took it down to almost the bottom of the Florida Keys to a place.
Did you guys listen to the Will Smith song the whole time you were driving? Roll down the windows!
No, start it up!
We're going to Miami!
No, we did not.
Okay. Because in my mind, that's totally what you were doing.
That's what everyone does, right? When you're in Miami. And then we drove down to a place called, it's right after this island called Marathon. Mm-hmm. And so it took about
26.2 miles.
No, that's what everyone says, though. But it took about, 3.5 hours to do everything. There was some construction. So it took a little longer. Once you hit Miami, it just slowed down and you finally got there. That wasn't really the issue because I drove the whole way. Well, it was a long drive and we were tired. So everyone's like, no, please, they'll drive back and you sit in the back. Well, occasionally I can be known to get car sick, so I prefer to drive. It just makes it easier. So I am, and if I'm not driving, I'm sitting in the passenger front seat, but I didn't. And so I sat behind Eric, who's driving. And if you've ever gone through the Florida Keys, it is a stop and start situation. It's not you're on a freeway system and you're going through it. So by the time we got to Key Largo, I just was like, whoosh. Everything was just starting to feel bad. Everything was spinning and bad. I thought, no, I stuck in some gum. I rolled down the window, but I had been trying to,
tough it out.
But I would look at my iPod a lot, like way too much. And if I don't want to get sick, I have to adjust my eyes outside and realize like, hey, I'm driving or I'm in the car and everything. And I wouldn't stop looking at things. And so all of a sudden we were almost to the floor, like into Miami. And I cover my mouth. And I go like this. And, dude, I totally threw up. It just a little. But I threw up in my mouth. And I didn't want to throw up. Eric's mom was sitting next to me. I didn't want to throw up on anybody. And so it was just a little. And so I went like this so no one would notice. And then it started dribbling out my nose.
Oh, my gosh!
And I'm like...
So what? Did you get a tissue?
I grabbed a tissue, I grabbed a napkin, and I just sat there, and I didn't grab a
Did
bag.
anybody notice?
No, I don't think anyone noticed.
That's amazing.
But the second I start feeling it dribbling out my nose, I thought, oh, this is amazing. It went up my nose. It went up my nose.
That's really impressive.
And I felt...
Now, see, that's what a neti pot's for.
Yeah, clean it right out.
Get that vomit out of there.
I felt a lot better after that happened, believe it or not. And then I got really sick again. We couldn't get out of Miami. It was so crowded. It was forever traffic-wise.
Dude, Nikki,
it was terrible.
You know what it was? It's once people heard that Nikki was coming to Miami.
Oh, everyone. I know. I had
the party turned out.
I did. I had a small beach party, for all the fans and everything.
Huge.
But we got through... Gosh, is it Howard County or something like that? It's at the bottom of Florida. And let me tell you, if you ever see cops, they're there. It's such a disgusting area of Florida. And so we were going along this strip of road to try to find the freeway. We took a roundabout way. And man, at that point, I was looking at Eric's GPS on the iPod, and I said, you got to pull over. I am going to throw up if you don't pull over. And I said it with some urgency to where the rest of his family was looking at me. And I get car sick, just pull over. But it was one of that bad areas. So, we're we pulled over, and this building had the word private on it. And then I thought, is this an okay building to pull over? And it was fine. It was something else. But I thought, is this because there were so many private buildings?
The ladies of the night.
And so I didn't want to have him pull over in one of those and,
so did you
get out.
Did you throw up on the side of the road? Or did you run?
I got outside. I was fine. I just had to drive. I had to drive the rest of the way. I only threw up in my mouth. That was it.
I don't know, though. That's pretty awesome. It was coming out of your nose.
Oh, I've never had that happen. I just want to get home.
I don't know if I've ever thrown up out of my nose either.
It was weird. I just thought, well, is my nose running?
Yeah. Didn't it burn or something?
Yes, it did.
Okay. I was going to say, there had to have been something in there that was this is not snot.
No, my throat really burned afterwards.
Did you drink anything?
Yeah, water afterwards.
That's what I mean. It's because I got to tell you, I'm throwing up. I'm listen, we need a 3-part cleansing system.
I had to get
I got to brush my teeth.
No, you have to understand the road that I was on. We hadn't made it to quote unquote the mainland yet.
Yeah.
We were still on the bridge going across it, and so you have all this area fenced in. Protected area. There's nothing there, and I don't want to draw attention to myself. I don't like to do that, and
I'm telling you, I still think it would have been awesome if you would have gotten out, thrown up, and realized that you'd thrown up on a gator. And to a gator, that's the way you initiate some war ritual.
Some rumble.
And the gator's oh yeah.
So I don't do anything except text Obi. That's what
she's texting me I just threw up in my mouth a little. Dude, I was at home laughing so hard. I'm just yes, this is amazing.
I thought, there's that compassion that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I was. You know what? I was laughing really hard. I will tell you, Alicia was very much feeling your pain. She gets car sick from time to time. She's that is not funny. That is serious.
I was trying not to laugh. I didn't want to explain what happened, so I just sat there with this amazed face. And so then I'm text. Don't look at the screen. Text. Gonna get sick again.
Well, I'm glad you made it. And I'm glad you came back with the tale.
Oh, yeah. I was yes, I was going to want to know about this.
He's going to love this. He's such a compassionate man.
It's for the show.
Wow.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.